Hello, humans. I decided to start a new series on case studies, Chinese medicine case studies, something I really love translating. And so this is the first. And I'll try to every so often put up another case or a couple of cases. I do want to say I have maybe a twisted sense of what I like. And so I'm not picking cases that are like normal conditions with normal everyday formulas. I'm picking the weird cases. So if you're new to Chinese medicine, please don't judge Chinese medicine based on the weird cases that I select. But weird cases are much more fun and interesting. So there's like 4 or 5 cases in this 10 slideshow, and they all involve either the nose or the sense of smell. So here we go. Let's do this. Li Dongyuan was one of the 4 great masters of the Jin Yuan dynasties. So he lived like 700, 800 years ago, and very famous doctor, very important doctor. He's the doctor that first wrote Buzhang Yi Tang, famous formula. This is a case in one of his books that doesn't use Buzhang Yi Tang. It's a weird case. It's a case from his teacher. It actually is an acupuncture case, which there are many fewer acupuncture cases than herbal cases. So here we go. The anterior yin of a rich person. So what is anterior yin? It's the penis, or in people with female genitalia, it's, the vagina and vulva and so forth. Okay, so the front yin, the posterior yin is the anus. Okay, so the anterior yin of a rich person had a sow odor. So this character, sow, smells are hard to give names to sometimes. So in English, it's sometimes translated as the smell of urine or an animal smell. So, well, animal smell of urine makes sense for coming out of a penis. Anyway, so his penis had animal odor, which was related to drinking alcohol every day. And this is why they told us he's a rich person. He can afford alcohol every day and whatever. Anyway, his abdomen was not harmonious. So he had, some maybe digestive upset or other kinds of discomfort in his abdomen. So he asked my late teacher, Zhang Jiegu, who's a very famous teacher, Zhang Yuan Su, I think is his other name, to treat him. And Zhang said, the anterior yin, the penis or the female genitals, the anterior yin is the foot yin liver channel, which networks with and follows the penis. The liver channel emerges at the end of the penis. So we know the liver channel's main channel, its channel sinew, its channel divergence, and its woe vessel all go to the genital region. The liver channel really loves the genitals. So he's saying since this involves the penis, then it's liver related. And he says whenever there are odors, they're governed by the heart. This might not be what everyone agrees on. For example, some might say lungs because of the nose, but in Nanjing chapter 40, it says that odors are associated with the heart as the big boss of all the odors, but of course there are 5 odors, one for each of the 5 organs. So these odors are governed by the heart and they scatter into the 5 directions as the 5 odors, just like light breaks down through a prism into all these different colors. When things break out in the 5 directions, they scatter into 5 types. And so there are 5 odors, and one of them enters the liver as the sow odor, the urine or the animal odor. Okay, so far we've got a rich guy who's drinking too much wine and his penis stinks like urine or like animals. And so the theory is it's liver because it's penis, but it's heart because it's odor. And of course, liver is wood and heart is fire. Okay, so here's the outcome. We should drain liver 2, Xingjian, on the liver channel. They have to say on the liver channel because Xingjian doesn't tell you it's liver channel. We only know in English it's liver because we call it liver 2. So we should drain liver 2, which is the fire point on the wood channel. Remember, we had heart and liver, fire and wood. Then we should drain Xiaochong, which is heart 9, on the heart channel. As the branch, he's talking about the liver channel is the root, I guess, because it's the penis, and the heart channel is the branch because it's odor. But heart 9 is the wood point on the heart channel. Liver 2 is the fire point on the wood channel. So we're both of these are fire and wood. Okay, so these are the points that he's going to use. And if this guy doesn't like being needled, we can use herbs instead. And the parentheses are come from like reading more later. Excuse me. So the formula that they were suggesting was Longdan Shegan Tang, which is a clear heat from the liver formula, heat, damp heat. He says the qi and flavor of alcohol are both yang. You know, alcohol is very hot, very intense, very moving, very yang. So the qi and flavor can engender internal damp heat. This wind, damp, and heat combines in the lower jiao and becomes evils. So the classic says, which is referring to Neijing, the lower jiao is like a drainage ditch. Remember, the upper jiao is a mist, and the middle jiao is like a bubbling cauldron or a muddy pool, and the lower jiao is like a drainage ditch. It also says, guide evils that are in the lower body out and exhaust them. So alcohol is a liquid that's full of damp heat. You should remove it by letting it run out of the anterior yin. So that's the theory why those 2 points were selected. Okay, that's an interesting case. That's a use of 5-element theory that's a little bit different than we might be accustomed to. Okay, that's the first case. Well, this is a really weird case. This comes from some Qing Dynasty book, and it seems to be a collection of various things. And the doctor who this case belongs to seems to be somebody named Han Mao, a Ming Dynasty doctor. Okay, so a hair grew out of someone's nose. It could grow the length of 1 or 2 chur in a day. A chur is about a foot approximately. Wow, that's a lot of growing. Okay, in a day and night. Okay, little by little, this hair became thick and round like a rope. The pain was unbearable for this coming out of his nose. Even after he endured the pain of plucking out a strand of hair, it just grew back. This was due to eating excessive amounts of pig and sheep blood or goat blood. Okay, so maybe you know that we're told that hair is the surplus of blood. In other words, if you have lots of blood, then your hair will grow strong and full and healthy. If you're blood deficient, then your hair will become dry and fall out. And so you need a surplus of blood in order to grow hair. So he was eating so much blood that his nose hair grew like this. So the doctor then made pills with cooked rice to bind the pills together, using 1 liang each of rushang or frankincense. That doesn't sound so bad. And now sha, which I don't know, what is sal ammoniac? It's going to be some kind of crystal thing. Maybe it's similar to bingpian or jiangnao. So he made pills with these 2 ingredients plus rice to bind it. The pills were the size of wutongzi, which is a little seed. You know, it's the size of what people call tea pills. Each dose was 10 of these pills, swallowed with water on an empty stomach at bedtime. And then the hairs naturally retracted or fell off. This word means retreated, and this word means fell. So, yeah, okay. In case you have somebody who has nose hair like that, there's your answer. This next case has, I think, 5 slides. It's a bit longer. It's from Gujin Yi An An, which is ancient and modern medical cases. So this is a Qing Dynasty book, but it's a collection of earlier cases. And here there's a doctor named Zhu, but it's not the same as Zhu Danxi. It's a different doctor. And he treated somebody named Yo, who had a problem. Okay. His whole body feared cold. He hated cold. He still wore a padded jacket in the summer, and he warmed himself by fire at night. So padded jacket is like a quilted jacket, the kind of thing you'd wear in the winter. He couldn't smell anything. His nostrils had something the size of a soybean in them. It itched a lot, but if he used his fingernail to pick at it, it hurt a lot. He only used yellow earth mud inside his nose, and he could smell the earth smell. He couldn't smell anything else, but he could smell earth. And for some reason, putting mud in his nose made him feel better. Don't ask me. I don't know. So he didn't even speak for half a month, and no doctor knew what to do. So this is one of those things which is like, boys and girls, don't try this at home. Okay. Zhu said, this condition is strange, but we're okay because doctors have strange formulas to deal with strange conditions. He said, look for an extremely small house and put bricks all around it on all 4 sides so that no air could leak in or out. Make it airtight. Drill a hole in each of the 4 walls. In the middle of the house, dig a small pit in the earthen floor. They often had pounded earth floors, so it was just pounded earth. Okay, so dig a small pit in the earthen floor. This pit should be the size of a plate so that it could fit a person's face in it. And then he locked the patient in the room. So Zhu burned 100 jin of mugwort, the moxa herb. How much is 100 jin? I don't know, but it sounds like a lot. And he made the smoke enter through the holes on the 4 sides. 30 or 40 jin were burned from morning until noon. The smoke completely filled the room. The patient's nose couldn't tolerate it, so he lay face down, seeking a gap for the air to find some air. He found the plate-sized hole in the earth and stuck his nose in it. He instantly felt he could breathe through his nose. Remember, he could smell earth before? His whole body was extremely hot from noon until night. Remember, he was very cold, wearing jackets even in the summer. So he removed his quilted jacket. At dawn, when Zhu opened the door to see, the bean-sized thing in his nose had dropped off, and he no longer feared wind and cold. He could take off his jacket and be comfortable. He took 10 packets of Buzhong Ichitang. Oh, I mentioned that before. That's Li Dongyuan's formula. And then he completely recovered. So researching this disease, this is probably later commentary from the author of this Gujin Ian An. Researching this disease, it was due to living upstairs where wood qi was too strong, like in a wooden house. In the winter, he used too much fire without any cracks, so it was airtight, and he heated up his room a lot. And wood also engenders fire, so the wood qi and the fire qi accumulated over time and became a chronic disease of heat in the organs, but cold in the skin. So Zhu used mugwort to roast the cold in the skin and to free the orifices of the zheng fu. So, the nose is the orifice of the lungs. Wood entered the earth and decayed. Okay. Fire entered the earth and became ashes. At that time of initially observing his disease, the only smell he could sense was the smell of earth. So this Dr. Ju figured out, oh, he could smell earth. Then that helped him to come up with this treatment. Well, if this doesn't make total sense to you, yeah, it's a bit odd, but remember, strange diseases, well, it's okay because doctors have strange formulas. And so one of the people who commented on this Gujin An commented on various cases. He notes that this method is quite strange. Of course, it's also quite dangerous. You can't just go doing this yourself. People live in air like fish live in water. If a person is enclosed in a small house the size of 10 bamboo mats, plastering it on all sides so there's not one opening for air to come in, the person will die in half a day because they're cut off from the chi of heaven and earth. Here, even though there was a hole in each of the sides of the house, the hole was very small and they were pouring smoke in through it. They also fumed him with mugwort smoke. They dug a hole in the earth just big enough to contain his face. This risks him breathing all the smoke with no way to escape from suffocation. How is he not in great danger? So they're telling you, we're not going to try this, but they thought it was interesting enough to include it in the collection of cases. The last one is another, unusual case from Shuming Yi Leian. And so Dr. Luo treated someone whose jaw had slipped out of place when he stretched his neck. Somehow he dislocated his jaw. His jaw was only open and he couldn't close it. So Luo had the patient drink liquor until he was very drunk because this is going to hurt. When he was sleeping, Luo blew in a powder made from this herb called zhao jiao, which is a herb that's commonly blown up the nose to make people sneeze when somebody's unconscious. I'll talk about that some more, but let's finish this. So he blew in this zhao jiao powder to tickle his nose. And, when the patient sneezed a whole bunch, the patient's jaw righted itself. Okay. So yeah, when you may have heard that in an unconscious patient, sometimes they blow a powder up somebody's nose, and there's a formula called what's it called? Oh, I forget its name, sorry, but its main ingredient is Zhao, and that makes the patient sneeze. And the idea is that when somebody's unconscious, if they sneeze, somehow that's going to wake them up, and that's also going to make sure that they start breathing properly and clear out the passageways and so forth. So even though this person wasn't unconscious, they figured out that the sneeze would help to, set the dislocated jaw. Well, those are my cases for today. I'll do this again soon. I hope that you find this interesting. And that's what I have to say.